Hello and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jillian Bender-Cormier. I'm brand manager with Bender Insurance Solutions. We want to welcome you to another educational Bender U webinar on how to increase your leads with LinkedIn, strategies for sales and marketing success. Some housekeeping notes for today. At the end of this webinar, we will have an engaging Q&A session that I will be facilitating. If you have any questions during the webinar, please feel free to type them into the chat box or in the Q&A section. During that dedicated Q&A time at the end of the presentation, I will be sharing your questions with our speaker. We want to be conscious of time, so if we don't get to answer all of your questions, we will gladly reach out to you individually after the webinar. You are all in listen-only mode and will remain muted throughout the presentation. Please note, only the first half of this session is being recorded today due to the private and special nature of what's to come in part 2. To learn more about the content shared during the second half of our time together, feel free to connect with Jennifer directly. At the conclusion of the webinar, the recording link will be forwarded to you, as well as Jennifer's contact information. We have a fantastic expert sharing with us this afternoon, and I'll let Bender's own Keck Royce introduce her. Welcome, Keck.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Jillian. I'm Keck Royce. I am Vice President of Healthcare Risk, and I'm very excited to introduce Jennifer. Jennifer Darling is master at creating visibility, making noise, and building relationships using LinkedIn. Her posts have generated tens of thousands of views, and she's grown her network to over 5,000 qualified connections. Jennifer is one of the world's foremost LinkedIn experts and the only one who has 20 years of advertising and sales experience. Jennifer has trained thousands of salespeople, consultants, speakers, authors, and experts to maximize LinkedIn results without having to invest hours upon hours each week or become a social media expert. Jennifer is the author of Increase Your Leads with LinkedIn. A little glimpse of this. I have one. I'm a great example of how her product works. And so let me say that again. That's Increase Your Leads with LinkedIn, 52 Tips for Sales Success, and creator Mastering LinkedIn Deep Dive Virtual Training. When she's not teaching people how to use LinkedIn, she's chasing her Yorkie, Finnegan, or snuggling with her 130-pound lap dog, Bernese mountain dog, Roxy. So I'm excited for you to all listen to Jennifer. Here she is.
Hey everybody, thank you so much, Keck, and thank you, Bender Insurance, for having me today. You know, good thing is I have the dogs barricaded in the other room today. I don't know how many of you have to do that, as well as we're all on video trainings now, and we have dogs and kids and husbands and wives and significant others that knock on the door, and we have to barricade ourselves in our room to have our Zoom meetings look professional, right? So welcome everybody to our LinkedIn training, Increase Your Leads with LinkedIn. I'm going to teach you 3 strategies today to get high paying leads, because we're all here because we want to increase our business and do it in the right ways. And I'd love to hear from the attendees who are here right now. I would love to hear, where are you calling in from, and what is your job title or your job responsibility? So just let me know in the chat room where you're calling in from and what is it that you do. I might even customize some of this presentation based on who you are and what you do. So let's get diving right in. So in today's training, we're going to talk about what's so great about LinkedIn. And LinkedIn is really the Google for business professionals. It used to be that LinkedIn was mostly a job searching website, and it still is that. It is one of the best platforms for job searching. But Microsoft purchased LinkedIn a few years ago, and they spent about $26 billion on this purchase. And they've really done such an excellent job at growing this platform to not just be a job seeking tool, but to be a networking place for business professionals. And now if you want to do business with somebody, it's quite often that they will look you up and check out your profile on LinkedIn. And many times what we're all doing when we want to work with somebody is we're going to LinkedIn and we're checking their profile out. We're looking for, are they legit? Are they the people that we want to do business with? What is it that's saying on their profile? It's really become a great resource for us sales professionals and people who are in non-sales role into marketing, but are still responsible for generating new leads for your organization. LinkedIn members are so great as leads because they are highly educated, more so than any other social media platform. They're high income earners, so the average income of a LinkedIn member is much higher. Much higher than any other social media platform. You have decision makers here and decision influencers here, CEOs, C-suite people, corporations, business professionals. So no matter if you are in B2B sales or if you're in B2B sales, but your C are business professionals, this is the place where you're going to go to really get engaged with those folks. And these people are engaged in business conversations more so than any other platform. LinkedIn has the most business content, business resources, business news of any other social media platform. So it's where you'll find a high-end client hanging out, wanting to have business conversations, which makes it so unique to any other social media platform. And you have the opportunity to establish yourself as an expert resource or a trusted advisor or somebody who's just a resource in your industry to help support your prospects, your referral partners, and your leads. It's the one place where you can go to really create your own positioning as a business professional, your own professional brand. You can also increase your visibility with prospects who have money to spend. These are not just everybody in the world, like some other social media platforms reach massive audience, but everybody's there. No, this audience is people who have really great roles and make money. And so they are going to have money to invest in your products or services. You also can build that know, like, and trust trifecta that you've probably heard about before with decision makers in a way that you can't in any other place. Like email might be the next possible way, but even that is more for direct communication, not really so much for growing your marketing with those people. But it's really non-invasive because if you get somebody to connect with you, then you can build top of mind awareness so that when they're in the market to buy, and that's one thing we're going to talk about today, that they're thinking of you first and they may not even be thinking of anybody else, which is awesome, of course. And then also you will be able to attract a steady flow of incoming leads. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about my own success with incoming leads so you can know exactly what I mean. This is an excellent resource and tool for incoming leads and referrers. So let's talk about increasing your leads with LinkedIn. What I have found is that there are 3 big challenges that people have with increasing their leads with LinkedIn. And I'm going to share with you the strategies that I've developed that will help you to overcome those challenges. The first challenge is that you need more leads to make your sales goals. I mean, who doesn't? Even when I was making my budget as a corporate television account executive, I always wanted to make more money, right? So I needed more leads to be able to make either my budget or my sales goals that were oftentimes even exceeded what my company budget was. And we need to get those leads in places that aren't available. I mean, in places, because other places that we used to aren't available anymore. So for example, you might have been going to business networking events in person or conferences or trade shows or any of those places, and you weren't able to get leads from those places right now. So your best bets are virtual networking events and social media platforms, specifically LinkedIn. So I know for many of you, we're probably all in the same boat in this way, is that January 2020 was awesome. For me, I had started out the year really ready to roll. I was on fire, booking tons of speaking engagements. This is me in San Francisco at a speaking engagement. And there were supposed to be 200 people at my speaking engagement, and 500 people ended up attending. There was standing room only, people laying on the floor, people everywhere. Business was great in January of 2020 and February. I was looking to have my best year ever. And then in March came around and all the conferences in the world canceled their in-person events, and therefore all of my paid speaking engagements went out of the window. However, I am happy to report I still had my best year ever because I was able to shift my thinking to what my customers needed and change some of my programs and offerings to other things like training people using LinkedIn to increase their business. And I had my best year ever because I was using the strategies that I'm teaching you today and using the platforms LinkedIn, virtual networking, virtual speaking, and referrals to be able to still drive my business. And so I know that you can do that too. For many of you, business is coming back, and so that's great. There's going to be a pent-up demand, so it's going to get really busy soon. I mean, obviously, we want it to be quick as possible, but for some of you, it's going to get really busy really fast. But until then, we still want to be driving opportunities, and you want to get ahead of the curve. If the business is going to come back too fast, you want to be the one that they choose. Right? So if there's this pent-up demand in your industry, it's you that we want them coming to you. So you need to make more opportunities for yourself by growing your network both wide and deep. And I'm going to share what I mean by that. Wide. The more people who you know, the better, because we do a great job of getting business and closing business whenever you have referral partners. And in LinkedIn, you can grow your network up to 30,000 connections. In Facebook, say for an example, you can only have 5,000 friends in Facebook. So in LinkedIn, you can have far, far more connections than you can in another social media platform. Now, the amount of connections you have is really important because we definitely want to have quality connections, but the more people who know about you, the better. Let's say you have 200 connections or you have 20,000 connections. You're going to get more business if you have 20,000 good connections. Now, if you have 200 super high qualified connections and 20,000 really bad connections, then that's not the same. But if you have 200 qualified connections or 20,000 qualified connections, then you're definitely going to be growing your market or your business much, much faster because more people know about you. More people can choose to do business with you, and more people can refer you. The more connections that you have, the more opportunity for people to get to know you, know what you do, how you work, your values, the type of business you do, and that's going to give you more leads. Now, the key here is not to connect with those leads and send them your sales pitch. Nobody wants a sales pitch. This is how we all feel whenever we get another sales pitch or promotions. No, you want to have a great strategy for connecting with those people that brings positive results. And in my Lucrative Leads Retreat, I go more in depth into that. I have another training program I'm going to share with you at the end of our session today. But we go much deeper into how to make the connections and how to get people's attention so that you're able to really grow your business in a positive way and get great feedback and wanting more people to refer you and do business with you. So deep. What does deep mean? Deep means that you want more people who already know you in your profile. So one is we want to reach people who don't know us yet so more people can know about us. But the second deep is that you want the people who already know you in your profile. And this is one of the biggest things that people miss is adding people who are already your customers to your profile. So our best salespeople in the whole world are people who already love you. They're people who've already worked with you, current or past customers, or even people who are colleagues or former colleagues of yours. And your best referral champions are people who already know, like, and trust you. So you don't need to build that trifecta up. You already have it. And you know this, but oftentimes we aren't putting those people in our LinkedIn profile connections because we're thinking to ourselves, well, we want to get new people. And that's true. You do want to get new people, but you also want to continue to nurture those relationships you have with people who already know you. And one of my favorite ways to rekindle warm leads, and they could be referral partners, they could also be former and past clients, and they could also just be connections that you have had in the past. One of my favorite ways to do that is to download a list of your connections and rekindle those relationships. So did you know that in LinkedIn, you can actually go and download an Excel spreadsheet of all of your connections. And it's going to have the first name of the connection, the last name of the connection, their job title, and their company. Now, it used to have their email, but what was happening is people were putting those in their email marketing databases, and that's against the FCC or the FTC regulations. That's canned spam. We can't do that. So they took the email off. But still, having that first name, last name, and their job where they are now and their title is a gold mine for your business. And you get an Excel spreadsheet for your company that you can actually go in. You can put them in your CRM. You just can't put them in your email marketing list. But you can go sort through those connections. You're already connected with them. And you can pull those people back up and you can rekindle that relationship. Check in with them. See how life is going since the pandemic started. Is there anybody that you can introduce them to? So here's how you do that. You're going to go into your profile, and on the top right, you're going to select this tiny little bitty mini me. And when that opens, you're going to see this View Profile button. And you're going to just click on this View Profile button. And then the next page is going to open. It's going to go right directly to this page, how LinkedIn uses your data. Now, if it doesn't go directly to this page, this is the one that automatically popped up when I clicked that button. Sorry, let me go back one. View Profile. You're going to go to Settings and Privacy right here. Right here, Settings and Privacy. And when you click that, now you're going to come into here to your privacy. If you don't come right to the screen, just go over here to the left side of the screen and come under Data Privacy and choose how LinkedIn uses your data. Okay, so now once you have that open, get a copy of your data. You're next then going to select, want something particular. Do not download this file. It will take days for you to get this information. It's too much. You don't want to do that. So just click on this one right here. And then you're going to select connections. You don't need articles, messages, all this other stuff. Just hit connections right here. And then you're going to request an archive. And when you request an archive, then in about 10 minutes, you're going to receive that Excel or CSV file with a list of all of your connections. So let me just show you real quick again where to go to get that. This is one of the best ways to go back and see your connections and rekindle those relationships. So right here under the little bitty mini me, under Settings and Privacy, click that next. Then you're going to go here to how LinkedIn uses your data or data. And then you're going to click here and you're going to put something in particular. Then you're going to select connections. And then right here, you're going to request an archive. And in your email box, whatever email you have a link to your LinkedIn account, that's where you're going to get that Excel spreadsheet. You can save it, upload it into your CRM, and take a look at the people on that list and see who it is that you need to reach out to and reconnect with. So let's take a look at a couple of profiles. I'm actually going to show you some different examples today of people who are doing great things with their LinkedIn profile, because then you can choose to do the same things. You can copy their ideas and use them for yourself. So this is my client, Chuck Thoki, and this is really a story about how important it is to have a great LinkedIn profile, because referrals will be sent, referrers, or people who are referring you, will be sending people to your LinkedIn profile to check you out. They may be sending people to your website. Unless you work for a corporation, then there's no place else to send them to check you out. So you definitely want to have a LinkedIn profile. And if you do work for your own company, you're a consultant, you have your own business, you still want to have this LinkedIn profile, because mostly this is where people are coming to. And if they're Google searching, they're getting your LinkedIn profile, because those two platforms work really together. So this is Chuck, and Chuck is a speaker and a sales consultant. He's in the Ohio area. And Chuck had a former customer of his tell somebody that they needed to go and work with Chuck. And so this prospect of Chuck's, went to LinkedIn and really did some research on Chuck. They checked out his profile, they read his about section, they went through his experience section, and they decided that Chuck had everything that they wanted, and they called and booked on one phone call, booked Chuck for a huge piece of business. It was a $100,000 training deal. Now, had Chuck not been on LinkedIn, they would not have been able to go to his profile. He would have had no profile. Had Chuck been on LinkedIn and just had a profile that looked like a professional resume, which is a big mistake many people make, they wouldn't have been able to read all about why they should work with him. A customer-focused profile is what Chuck had. So you want to ensure that you set yourself up for customers, for marketing yourself, not for seeking a job. Unless you're seeking a job, that's different, but it's a totally different type of profile when you're looking for leads and customers. They don't want to come to your profile and see that you're looking for a job, because then why would they want to work for you? I know a company who lost a 6-figure deal, and then they called me after they lost a 6-figure deal to upgrade their salespeople's profiles, because their competitor's profile was amazing and that's who they did business with. Not because they had a great LinkedIn profile, but because their profile demonstrated that they were the right person to meet their needs, that they had a big network of resources and referral partners, and that person was giving information and educating their industry with knowledge and content. So they lost because their salesperson had a LinkedIn profile that looked like a resume. So this is very, very important. So the second challenge here is that less than 1% of your ideal clients are in the market to buy today. Now, it doesn't matter what industry you're in. I have asked all kinds of industries. I've worked with all kinds of industries. And of cold leads, somebody you meet right now, less than 1% are in the market to buy today. And what that really means is that there's an opportunity here to grow top of mind awareness with a 99% of people who are going to be in the market to buy tomorrow. So just because they're not in the market to buy right now doesn't mean that it's not worth connecting with them and building that relationship and that trust factor with them as well. Our jobs as prospectors is to find that 1% or less than 1% who are in the market to buy today, and to nurture the 99% of people so that you can build top of mind awareness so that they're thinking of you first when they are ready to be in the market. That's a huge distinction. So you strategically want to be doing both. You want to look for the 1% and you want to nurture the relationship of the 99%. So how can you do this? Well, you can position yourself as the go-to expert with a strategic content plan. This is really valuable because the better, more quality content that you share, whether it be yours or you share somebody else's content, the more likely your prospect is going to want to read that content. And the more they're engaging with your content on LinkedIn, the more your content falls. The algorithm helps it fall into their newsfeed, and they see more and more of you, and that's really a great way to stay in front of them. How else are you going to stay in front of them? Are you going to call them every single week? You might email them an article every week, but that might get overdone. No, instead you use LinkedIn to help you build that top of mind awareness. So one of the ways, I'm actually going to give you 4 really nice ways to support you, different kinds of content that you can share. And you want a good media mix. You don't want to just do one of these things, because people want to engage and learn in different ways. They have different learning styles, and also just depending on the day of the week, they may want different information. So here I'm going to teach you 4 different ways that you could, types of things that you can post. And one of those is published articles. Now, the cool thing about published articles, and many people aren't using them, but published articles actually get a unique URL on LinkedIn, and that makes them searchable on Google, Yahoo, and Bing. So if somebody is searching for you or searching for content that is similar, that resonates from your profile, that has the right keywords and algorithms, then what happens is they might get your LinkedIn article. Even you published it, they're going to get it on Google, Yahoo, and Bing. So this is an example. I wrote this article in 2015. Now this article is 5 years old. It is still getting clicks today. When I check it, there's still more clicks. 6,500 clicks on one article. Articles are amazing content to share because they're really your resource, they're your expertise, they're your information, and that helps present you as the go-to expert. So one of the ways that we love to build that top of mind awareness is sharing articles. Now, you don't have to write articles every single week. You don't need to do that. You can write articles once a month, and that would be plenty. So in my Lucrative Leads Retreat, what we teach you is how to create a 12-month juicy content marketing plan that repurposes your content, so that way you don't have to be a content machine, because you don't have time to be a content machine. But what you can do is you can answer the most frequently asked questions your customers are asking you. And when you do that, it makes for great articles. So we're going to help you. We help you to do that. And we also help you to figure out what should the components be of your LinkedIn articles. Now, if you go to my LinkedIn profile, you'll find a box there with all kinds of articles. It'll be, you'll see my activity, you'll see articles. You can go and see this article. And you also can find another article called Blogging for Business, which will give you some tips on how you can create your own articles. It'll give you some different ideas. And then, like I said, we help you cut through the chase, and we do that in our deep dive training as well. Okay, so the next thing is to grab your prospect's attention with highly engaging flipbooks. So these are amazing. And it's in the Documents tab of LinkedIn, and not many people even know this exists. If you follow Gary Vee, you may see him post these kind of posts. And if you go to my LinkedIn page, you will see I have a content tab. It's right by the articles tab. You all have a content tab, but most people leave it blank. So strategically, what happens is if you're at a virtual networking, let's just say, for example, many people are finding lots of leads in virtual networking. If you go to a virtual networking event, what you want to do is encourage people to connect with you via LinkedIn. Grow your connections that way. And then when you do that, strategically add this type of content, a document. Because what will happen with the document is it's such a great piece of content that LinkedIn will push it out more, and it'll increase the likelihood that you're going to get seen in that new connections newsfeed. And whenever you first connect, LinkedIn increases the things that you post into your new connections newsfeed to see if they're going to engage with it. So if they do, then their LinkedIn is going to continue to send them more of your work. So these look like ebooks. Now, ebook could be a scary word because, writing a book is a pretty big deal, but these do not have to be crazy, full of content. In fact, the ones that I've had read the most are actually the ones with the least amount of content, but really big text. So this one here is from LinkedIn. They actually published this, and then I downloaded their PDF and I republished it. I'm not stealing their work, I'm republishing it because it obviously has LinkedIn marketing all over it. And this one had 750 views on somebody else's content. Now, I also had a client who sent via email me a PDF about events. And I messaged her back and said, hey, would you mind if I gave you some extra exposure by publishing your she didn't call it a flip book, but your ebook onto my LinkedIn page. And of course you get all the credit and it's branded with you and I'll tag you. She said yes. And so she got like 640 views on my LinkedIn documents. Wouldn't that be a great thing to do for your top clients as well, or prospects? Or anybody else who has valuable content that you would like to share for your market that would be great for your target market. And the next one I did was called Build a Rockstar LinkedIn Profile. So this one here I created in PowerPoint, and I just saved it in a PDF form. It looks really nice that way. And then you can see right here, this one was 19 pages, and it was a book about how to, basically it was a book that helped me create the training programs that I'm doing now on video, and is how a step-by-step guide to get found, give value, and find prospects. And that was my LinkedIn Rockstar profile. And that one had, right here, you can see 2,500 views, 16 comments, and 39 people engage. Now, don't get worried if not a ton of people engage. Sometimes lots of times people get the information and they love it and they value it, they're just too lazy to hit hello or, say anything about it or share it. But that's what you want to do with your prospects, is you want to like, comment, and share their information so you can get their attention. But anyway, back to these flip books here. And then here's the last one. If you go to my LinkedIn profile under documents, you're going to find this one. And I really want you to take a close look at this one because it's 23 pages, but each page has less than 125 words on it. This one has over 5,000 views. Here it says 4,900, but it's still getting views. It has 5,000 views. Now, I used to sell advertising, and people would pay us to get 5,000 eyeballs, sets of eyeballs on their ads. So, oh, I think I'm gonna sneeze. Sorry, Jillian, maybe you can crop that out. No, I'm just kidding. Oh, it went away. But people used to pay us to get views on their ads. And now you can use LinkedIn really to help you organically increase the visibility. I don't even have 5,000 people. Well, I do now, but at this time I didn't even have 5,000 connections. So these things are even going outside of my first person connections, outside of that, to reach other people. So the documents is my #2 way to add content. And you can take the idea you have from your article and you can repurpose it into a document. Okay, you'll love this one. This is what I call an algorithm hack. Who knows what an algorithm hack is? If you know, put your answer in the chat room. So what we're doing with this one is it's a story formula. And there's some very precise pieces to this. And one of those pieces is that you want to have an attention-getting first sentence. So think of this like a short story. It's that short story that you use that first line to really grab their attention. So this worked really well. Please, 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 whatever you do, please do not use a sales script. That got a lot of attention because lots of places use sales scripts. So it was kind of like, now I'm telling you not to. And then I'm telling the story after that. So I'm saying why you don't want to use a sales script. And then I'm giving them the solution. What is it you want to do instead? Instead, try researching your prospect online, get a referral, ask meaningful questions, yada, yada. And then at the very end, you're going to either add a call to action or you could do both, a strong statement. So that way people will want to engage with this post. So if you add a call to action or you add a question is really good as well. So the layout here is your attention getting first headline, 2 to 3 issues with whatever it is you say, or 2 to 3 problems or needs or challenges that you solve, 2 to 3 quick ideas of how you solve that, and then a statement, question, or call to action to get people engaged. You do not want to put any links in this. Now, sometimes people say, well, why don't we want to put links? I don't know. What I do know is when you put links in this particular kind of formula, and this is only one of many formulas that we teach, but this particular kind of formula, this one does not, you don't want to have that link or it will reduce the views. You can have links in all other kinds of posts, but just not this algorithm hack one. And then you'll notice here it says maximum 1,300 characters. That's not words. So the maximum number of characters you can put in a LinkedIn post is 1,300. It's about 125 words. So this is a very short story. It's just quick and precise. And then you can put a couple of hashtags, but don't put very many, because if you put too many hashtags, people just glaze over because that's not content. It's just hashtagging for marketing. That's not really anything people are interested in reading. So we want to make sure we have enough content in here that this becomes a valuable piece of information for people. You can also put a picture graphic in there too if you want. So no more sales scripts. I created that in Canva, canva.com. And if you look up here right under my name, 4 days, it says, it was 4 days since I took the analytics of this post. And what I found from this post was that 635 views, that's what I had after only 4 days. So literally anybody could create this kind of story formula post and get hundreds of views. So make it a smart post, make it a relatable post. Because when you post this, you quite easily might get a prospect or referral partner, decision maker, influencer seeing this post. And so you want to make it really good, and you want to ensure that they're going to view it and maybe even like and comment on it. That would be the best. So that's my algorithm hack story formula. Go try it. You don't want to do these all the time because, again, people want that good media mix, but you could do these once a week, twice a month, or something like that, and you'll get a lot of eyeballs on that type of post. Okay, so this is Nora O'Brien. She is one of my clients in Sacramento, and Nora is an emergency management and business continuity firm. So if you're in that market, then you might want to connect with her on LinkedIn. She has over 20,000 connections on LinkedIn. She has been on LinkedIn, growing connections, doing a great job. She now gets paid speaking engagements to come speak at conferences on emergency management, business continuity. She's very well known in her private consulting business in Sacramento. Well, what was happening was Nora was using Constant Contact, which is a great email server, and she had about 20,000 people in constant contact too. And she was sending out her monthly newsletter. And what was happening was that she was just getting about, I don't know, the average amount of opens, which I think, or maybe even high for her, which was like 20% of opens. Well, there was this new regulation that rolled out, and it affected lots of people in the healthcare industry, and she had the solution to help them fix that problem. And it was a big, big deal because they could lose some of their funding from Medicare and Medi-Cal if they didn't make these emergency management plans that they needed to update. So she was sending emails to these folks. Well, if you figure she has a great open rate of 20%, what that also means is that 80% of the people were not opening the email. So she's leaving 80% of the prospects out there. You know, it's either going in a spam filter or whatever's happening. 80% are not seeing those. So what we did was we did that same algorithm hack post that I just shared with you in LinkedIn, and within one day we had 3,000 views, and she added 50 people into a virtual event that she was having to speak about the problems and the issues and to share that you could hire her company to come and basically take care of this for you. Now, she has 3 different programs. One is like you could go buy everything and online and download it and do it yourself, or they will fully help you make all the changes for $25,000. So basically she had 50 new prospects in her virtual event, and this was before before everybody was on Zoom. This was way before that. And she was able to then have enough prospects to be pitching them for $25,000 each private consulting services. So these things work. They've worked for myself and they work for clients, and you definitely want to do that algorithm hack post. Okay, so video is the 4th way that you want to add content to build top of mind awareness. And video is really great. A lot of people are afraid to do video because they don't like the way they look. They don't want to appear to make mistakes. But don't worry about that, because just being you and being authentic is what people want to know about. I made plenty of mistakes in this presentation. I've probably made up my own words by now. Who knows? But the thing is, people don't care. They really want a real person, an authentic person. And so create your video, because people connect very well with video. Now, it is not my #1 source on LinkedIn, because what's interesting about LinkedIn is that people would prefer text-only posts over video. And I think probably because a lot of people are at work at their office and they don't want the audio running on their screen when they're working. So if you're going to do video posts, it really is a good practice then to do the video so that you have the words going over the screen. So at least if they have their audio off, they can stop and read the video. That's one thing to do it. This is my client, Rex Miller. He's also a consultant, and he works in health and wellness for corporations. He teaches them how to have a more healthy and workplace. And this is a video he shared of somebody else's video. He had over 200,000, you can see down here, views on somebody else's video he shared. And that's great. That's going to get a lot of eyeballs, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to get a lot of business. So The next thing we took a look at was how could Rex produce his own videos. And one of the things that he started doing is on a consistent basis talking about his topic and really giving people nuggets of advice using video. And his posts, his video posts, you can see here underneath his picture, they get about 2,000 views. This one had 1,200, this one has 2,600, this one has 2,300. So about 2,000 views on every single post he makes. And this is him giving, video tips for information for his market. You'll notice that he doesn't have a proper setting. He's not in a fancy office, no fancy lighting, well, except on this first one. And now today he has a fancy office, a fancy virtual studio, all of that. But he didn't need that to get 2,000 views on these videos. They're short videos. They're under 2 minutes. You don't want long videos on LinkedIn. You want long videos on YouTube, but not here on LinkedIn. Short snippets and tips will really go a long way in helping people. Video is a hot commodity. And if you do your video and you add it here to LinkedIn, you can also repurpose it to your other social media platforms or to YouTube or whatever else. But you want to ensure that LinkedIn is the foundational social media platform for you if your market is business professionals, because the other ones are all great, they're all fine, but you don't have 40 hours a week to be a social media manager, and neither do I. So we have to be really efficient about our time and use the best platform, which is this one made for business professionals. Here's Rex, and from some of the work that Rex has done, he actually got an inbound lead from Uber. So he has over 19,000 connections now, and one day the phone rings, or email, I don't remember which, and it was Uber calling to book Rex to do a training program for their employees. He did not have to reach out to Uber. This phone call came into him. So plenty of inbound lead opportunities if you're setting yourself up for success in LinkedIn. Okay, so the third challenge here is that your profile might be repelling your prospects. Remember that story I told you at the top of our training about the organization who lost a 6-figure deal because their competitor really set themselves up as the go-to expert in the industry within LinkedIn. So what happened there was that both prospects or both companies had a proposal where the deliverables looked the same. There was really not much difference in what was being delivered or the price or anything like that. So really the proposal, the playing field was equal. So what did they have to do? Well, they had to go to LinkedIn to see, well, what's the account executive like? What does that person represent? That's the person we're going to be working with. How else are we going to research them? So that's what they did, was went to LinkedIn, and they found that the competitor was a go-to expert in the industry, and that was the choice that they made. So your profile literally could be turning people away if it's sparse, if it looks like a resume, or if it just doesn't talk about the right things that are pertinent to your clients, or if it talks about too many things and people get confused. You've all heard a confused mind doesn't buy. So here are the most common blind spots that I see people make, and I've reviewed hundreds, over 500 profiles I have personally assessed. And the first blind spot is that the profile blends in with everything else. There's nothing intriguing or enticing. Your profile doesn't stand out. It just looks like everybody else's, kind of boring. Or it looks homemade. It's not the quality to attract your clients. So what that might look like is that your banner doesn't look that great. And I'm going to show you some examples of what really great banners look like here in a minute. It looks like you made it yourself. And if you want high paying prospects, you need to really market yourself to look the part. And so you want to make sure that you have a great banner, and even more importantly, you have an excellent about section that is customer focused and is written exactly for the right strategic formula to get leads. And then, is it look like a resume? And I've mentioned this a couple times because that's what I see often. And people don't want to hire people who look like they're looking for a job, because you'll be here today, gone tomorrow. The next blind spot is that they're not optimizing the featured section. This is a huge section throughout LinkedIn that you have an opportunity to share a welcome video, client testimonials, marketing materials, and people aren't even using that section at all, and it's such a big miss. There's no contact info to get a hold of you. Well, if you're working for a corporation, I worked for a Fortune 50 company. There were 3,500 salespeople in one division, and there were many divisions, but in one division, my division, 3,500 salespeople. So if you wanted to find any of the salespeople, good luck. Needle in a haystack, because they're not listed on the company's website. So you really need to have a LinkedIn profile, because you really need to have your contact info there. So when the prospect that you have met at that virtual networking event wants to work with your company, they don't go to the company website where you're not at and find somebody else to work with. No, they go directly to your LinkedIn profile, and they're connected directly with you. So you want to make sure you have that information, and we teach 4 very strategic places to put that information so that people can pick up the phone or email and connect with you when they're ready to buy. And then the last part is they're unclear on what you do. So you have a weak positioning statement. You aren't using the right keywords that will drive views to your LinkedIn profile. There's a whole strategy behind the keywords that you use on your profile and within your articles to be able to get the algorithms working so people are coming to you. Or you don't have a great positioning statement, so people don't know exactly what you do. I had a man reach out to me earlier today and asked me if I was interested in XYZ. I went to his profile, and it was loaded with jargon from his industry. I had no idea what it was he did, because it had these really crazy words, all this jargon, no clue. I need it simple, clear, understanding. I mean, he probably could have made 1 or 2 sentences that would be really enticing, intriguing, and solve my problems, and I might have wanted that information. But instead, there were 50 sentences that had 0 meaning to me. So we want to make sure you're very clear. So our third strategy here is to attract your ideal customers with a standout profile. And you want to attract people who are ready to buy by having the right information in your profile. So first, let's just take a look at the banners here. This is really the first place people are going to see and experience you. And this is my client, Richard, and he's from Roseville, California. Richard, at the time, had been with Sears for 25 years, and he managed over 250 employees. And for him, it was all about attracting great talent, because what's happening now is people are coming to you to look at you for business, but they're also coming to look to see, do they want to work for you? If you're adding a staff, or even independent contractors, if you're adding them, they want to see, who's this person I might be working with? Well, this is what people were seeing, was this Richard. So we upgraded Richard to have this brand new banner that has this positioning statement, leading teams to achieve their full potential. Now, if you see this, this is the guy you want to work for. Great, innovative and inspirational leader. We know that's what millennials particularly are looking for when choosing a company to work for, as someone who's going to support them in their leadership journey. And then notice this headshot. This is a great picture of Richard. Richard is one of the best, most caring, awesome managers I've ever met. And this was how he was representing himself. So would you rather work for Mugshot Richard, or the incredible Richard who leads innovative teams? Of course, it's number 2. But you can see with just a little bit of difference what a major standout an improvement this LinkedIn profile is. So I wanted to show you a couple other banner opportunities, because this is one of the easier things for you to change on your LinkedIn profile. But I would recommend you get a professional graphic designer, because otherwise it does look homemade. And we want you to have high-end, high-paying leads. And that would require you to have a really great looking profile. So this is Sandra Summerhays. She's in Canada. This is a beautiful new one, Moving Through Change. Your leadership journey starts here. Lori King is also another leadership consultant. Optimize leadership capacity, maximize your team performance. Contact me, and her phone number and email. We designed all these banners for them. This is Eddie Johnson, Breakthrough Solutions for Next Level Moves. Amy Rollin in Southern California, leading the way towards environmental solutions while balancing real world construction problems. So she does environmental work and she works on a lot of new construction in the California area, all over the country too, but largely in California. This is a really great profile upgrade. And Hannah is a foreign language translation for global communication expert. She translates things in over 150 different languages for global corporations. And here's Melna Jones. She is a coach, a leadership coach, so Born to Lead. I love this, the Executive Leaders Resource. So we helped her come up with the words and create a really beautiful graphic. And this is Sarah. And Sarah here works in the UK. And that's why you see programs spelled a little bit differently than we do here in the US. And she has the her website here instead of her email because she's the owner of the company. So if you go to this website, it's only going to be, you're going to get to her anyway. So that's Sarah. So really a beautiful banner gets people's attention, and you want to engage them, you want to build influence, and you want to close more business. So we engage them first by getting their attention with that profile. And what hot prospects do in your LinkedIn profile is that they first start with your what I call the prime real estate. So they're going to get attracted by your banner and your headline here. If they like that, they're going to go scroll down. They're going to go to your about section. They're going to look at your featured section like I have here. And then if they like what they see, they're going to hit the drop down, read more of your about section, and then they're going to go to your experience. In the about section, they need to read about them, not about you. And your experience section is where you put your credibility and you start talking about you. But nobody cares about you until they know what you have to offer them first. And then they're going to go to your recommendations. And if you don't have any recommendations, so sorry for you, because the person who has, here, I have 139 recommendations. Recently, as much as a week ago, recommendations. So they're going to go down and see, what are people saying about working with you? And then they're probably going to go next to your activity. So this is a really hot prospect. They are going to check you out. And then you're going to go to your articles, or right here's the documents tab, and they're going to see, well, what kinds of education is this person sharing? That's what a hot prospect is going to do. A hot prospect like Greg Zagoulas, who heard me on a podcast, followed me on LinkedIn, and went through this exact process, and then contacted me a few months later after he'd heard me training, and asked me to do his LinkedIn profile makeover and train him how to use LinkedIn. That's exactly what happens here, and that's the kind of result that you want to have as well. So there are 9 ways that you can heat up your prospects with your profile, and here they are. You want to grab their attention with a standout banner and headline. You want to increase their desire to work with you in that about section. You want to position yourself as the go-to expert in your experience section. You want to make sure you use the right keywords to come up in the search results when prospects are looking for the expert in your industry. You want to have a call to action. Always have a call to action to book an appointment with you. You want to put your contact information everywhere so they can easily find you. You want to have multimedia everywhere, videos, articles, PDFs of valuable resources that are great for your prospects, that help you to show them that you're an expert and demonstrate that you're the go-to expert. And then you want to make sure you have those recommendations, because they build massive credibility. I said earlier, your best salespeople are the people who already know you or your past customers. And then you want to publish articles so that they are going to increase their interest by working with you, because they're going to get more valuable information from you. And in those articles, you're going to also have a call to action to book an appointment with you too. All right, your success in LinkedIn really depends on having a strategy and being very consistent with what you are doing. So I'm going to give you, right now I'm going to give you a couple things that you can download, or you can go online and get some resources for you. So the first thing is, I have this ultimate LinkedIn profile checklist, and you can get this for free. And you are just going to go to your phone, and you're going to type in 1400, and you're going to type the word LinkedIn. It's all one word. Don't make it 2 words, all one word. That's the first step. And then you're going to get a reply from me, and then you're going to enter your email. When you do that, you're going to get this LinkedIn checklist, and the LinkedIn checklist will help you to be able to determine what areas that you need to improve based on the training that you just got, and also based on some other insights that I give you in the checklist. So make sure you go get that checklist, download that. And we are going to take a break here in just a minute, but before we do that, I have another really piece of great valuable information for you. And then when we come back, I have the secret insights to the technical piece of LinkedIn that will guarantee that you get more views on your LinkedIn profile. But before we do that, what's one great takeaway from our time today that you have received so far? If you'll put your answer in the chat room, that'll be really great. So everybody put your answer in the chat room, one great takeaway or one action that you're going to do today. And if you've liked what you've so far, you can totally bet that I have more where that came from. I have, let me just leave this one back up here because I want to make sure you get this. I have lots of revenue generating strategy I can show you. And the reality is this information today did not just come in a dream overnight. I know that would be so totally awesome if that happened for any of us. It's really a combination of 25 years of sales and marketing experience working with all kinds of businesses, and another 5 years studying, testing, and improving these strategies to turn LinkedIn into a lead generating machine for me. That's like 60,000 hours of time I've invested. If you follow Malcolm Gladwell, that's like 6 times an expert. And I know you don't have that to help you with LinkedIn. You probably don't even have 600 hours to figure this all out on your own. I know you got some amazing strategies today, but there's a lot more where this came from. So what I do is I want to help make it super duper easy for you and share with you everything else I know to master LinkedIn. I've shared some of those ideas today during our training so that you can build your profile, grow your network, and even get more leads. And if you don't have time to spend hundreds of hours, because who does, to develop these strategies, you're going to get to copy mine. You don't even have to spend the time doing that. So what's one customer worth to you? 25 grand, 100 grand, $1 million, or whatever your number is, you need this program to help you get that deal. Or better yet, 2 deals or 3 deals or 5 deals. And 5 consequently is the number of referrals that I got coming in my inbox last week from the work that I'm doing in these same sales and marketing strategies. And I'm going to be teaching you those in a program that I have called the Lucrative Leads Retreat. It's a 3-day event so that you can save your time, you can save your money, you don't have to worry about figuring this all out. I'm going to give you more ways of how to connect with people, how to cultivate referral partners and lead generating champions. I'm going to teach you how to 4 more strategies for growing your connections on LinkedIn. I'm going to teach you exactly what to say in that profile and that about section so you can attract ideal customers who want to book time with you. I'm going to show you more ways to grow your network of lucrative leads. And I'm going to share with you and teach you how to turn high-end prospects into profitable sales conversations so that you're not just doing this work for nothing. And you also get to steal my template for the highest converting LinkedIn profile ever. So I'll give you exactly what we do to create the best profiles. And then also I'm going to help you increase your demand for your services by creating 12 months of juicy content ideas without hurting your brain. I promise you, my system actually gets these things out of you pretty easy. So this training is easily worth $1,000, easily. But I want to help a lot of people with my knowledge. So what I've decided to do is, because you're here as a guest of Bender, is to give it to you for $97, but only for people who take fast action, because that's really what it's going to take for you to make these strategies in LinkedIn work, is taking fast action. So stop getting ready to get ready. Maybe you've been doing that. If you sign up for your spot by tonight at midnight, you're going to get the training program for $97. Now, if you wait till tomorrow, you can get it for $997. It is totally worth it. And to prove that, you can go to my LinkedIn, to all those recommendations that you saw, and read over 100 recommendations on people who've taken this program. They're there. So make sure you get your spots. Value's $997, before midnight, $97. And to get your seat, you're going to go to darlingpartners.com/mastering LinkedIn. And it looks just like this. So you go to my page, click Mastering LinkedIn, and Lucrative leads retreat. Grab your spot now. So do that before midnight. Okay, we're going to take, it says a 10-minute break, but it's actually going to be a 5-minute break. So I'll see you at 2:05 Pacific Standard Time. When we come back, the second half is not going to be recorded because these are some super secret technical pieces I'm going to share with you about how to increase your visibility using technical measurement components that LinkedIn has that no other social media platform has. So I'll see you back at 2:05.